Before we begin, I want to welcome you to our channel. For those who are new here, our mission is to share genuine Christian testimonies from around the world, spreading the powerful message of God's kingdom. We focus on stories about Jesus, the afterlife, heaven and hell, and other Bible-related topics, bringing them to you in engaging story form twice or 3 times a week. We invite you to become a member of this family by subscribing to our channel. God bless you as you do so. Today's experience was sent to us just recently by a sister, and we really pray it opens your eyes to the evil that comes along with Christmas. Kindly stay to the end to fully understand this experience. My name is Queen Felix. For years, Christmas had been my favorite season, a time when streets glowed with lights, homes were adorned with wreaths, and melodies of carols filled the air. Yet, a subtle unease began to grow in me. I found myself haunted by memories of the Christmases of my childhood, where the sacredness of the season was great. Midnight Mass, the gentle readings of the Gospel by a fire, and the quiet contemplation of Christ's birth painted those moments with reverence and awe. But that sacredness seemed to have evaporated in today's world. Instead, it was replaced by the need to outshine and outspend. It was as though Christ himself had been pushed aside, relegated to a silent corner in a celebration that was meant to be about him. As a child, Christmas was never about the presents under the tree or the glittering decorations. It was about a joy far deeper, a joy that came from knowing the Savior had come into the world. I didn't understand theology then, but I didn't need to. I could feel it in the love around me, in the carols we sang, and in the peace that settled over our home like a comforting blanket. True joy wasn't in what I received. It was in the quiet awe of Emmanuel, God with us. I began to have many questions about Christmas, and that led me to discover what will shock you. The Christmas season, for all its spiritual depth, is also woven with threads from ancient pagan traditions. When Christianity began to spread, it encountered resistance in cultures deeply rooted in their seasonal celebrations. Missionaries and church leaders, understanding the power of these traditions, often chose adaptation over eradication. Pagan symbols and practices were given new meanings, aligned with Christian teachings. Santa Claus, once a figure rooted in acts of kindness and charity, has evolved into a symbol of consumerism in modern times. Inspired by Saint Nicholas, a 4th-century bishop known for his generosity, the original Santa embodied the Christian ideal of selfless giving. His story encouraged people to care for the poor and share their blessings with others. However, over the centuries, this image shifted. Today, Santa is often portrayed as a jolly figure associated with lavish gifts and an endless wish list, reflecting a culture increasingly focused on material desires. The emphasis on getting rather than giving has diluted the spiritual significance behind his character. On the 3rd of December, as I sat quietly in my room, surrounded by Christmas lights and the warm glow of a fireplace, I felt something was missing. Christmas was here, but it didn't feel as special as it used to. I saw all the decorations, the gifts, and the excitement, but inside, I felt empty. I thought about how Christmas had changed. It used to be about celebrating the birth of Jesus, but now it felt more about buying things and having fun. I missed the deeper meaning, the true joy of Christmas. As I sat there thinking, something strange happened. I felt a warmth fill the room, like a quiet presence that wasn't there before. It was like something had opened up, and I could feel a connection to something greater than myself. Suddenly, I saw a vision. It was so clear and real that it felt like I was really there. I saw the air grew heavy, suffused with a suffocating darkness, as I found myself plunged into an abyss, a place of torment and unending discontent. It was no fiery underworld as I had imagined, but a landscape eerily familiar, cloaked in the grotesque manifestations of greed and desire. Towering stacks of discarded gifts littered the ground, their wrapping paper torn, their allure already forgotten. And there, amidst the wreckage of fleeting pleasures, stood a figure cloaked in shadows. His voice was serpentine, alluring yet chilling, dripping with derision. "Do you see?" he said, gesturing toward the desolate expanse. "This is your Christmas. A season that once belonged to the sacred now serves me. Not with fire and brimstone, but with credit cards and false promises." The devil's form shifted, taking on the guise of advertisements and jingles, each designed to seduce and entrap. He pointed out the chains that bound countless souls, not forged of steel, but of debt, envy, and an insatiable craving for more. "You think you celebrate," he sneered, "but you are only my puppets, dancing to the tune of consumerism." In that moment, the veneer was stripped away, exposing the truth I had long avoided. The modern Christmas, with its gaudy displays and relentless commercialism, had become a hollow parody of its sacred origins. The nativity was replaced by shopping malls, the star by neon signs. I saw children surrounded by mountains of toys, yet yearning for the warmth of undivided attention. I saw families burdened by the weight of expectation, their joy eclipsed by the pressure to buy, to impress, to conform. Most haunting of all, I saw myself, complicit in this cycle, blinded by the allure of a culture that had traded meaning for materialism. The devil laughed, sensing my despair. "It is not I who has taken Christmas from you," he said. "You gave it to me willingly, one purchase at a time." In the midst of the darkness, a sudden shift occurred. The oppressive weight of despair began to lift, and before me appeared a figure, radiant and serene. His presence was not of this world, but of something infinitely greater. His face, though gentle, bore the wisdom of ages, and his eyes, filled with compassion, seemed to pierce through the very fabric of my soul. It was Jesus, no longer confined to a nativity scene or a distant memory, but alive, present, and unyielding in his love. He spoke not with words but with a profound silence, his very being speaking of peace, of reconciliation, of light breaking through the darkness. The shadows receded, as if acknowledging the undeniable authority of his presence. In this vision, there was no grand spectacle, no overwhelming noise, just the quiet, transformative power of the divine. As I stood before him, the weight of my guilt, of the disillusionment I had carried for so long, seemed to melt away. The devil's mocking presence faded into nothingness. What had once felt like an abyss now seemed like a place where redemption could take root, even in the most barren of landscapes. Jesus, in his infinite mercy, spoke into the heart of my despair, reminding me that no darkness was too deep for his light to reach. In that sacred moment, I understood. It was not the world that was beyond saving, nor was Christmas simply a lost cause. The true meaning of Christmas was not found in the glittering lights or the false promises of material goods. It was found in the heart of Christ, who came into this world to heal, to restore, and to show us the way. As the vision unfolded, I realized that the darkness I had witnessed was not an end, but a beginning. Jesus did not enter the world to condemn it, but to offer it a way out of the chains that had bound it. His birth was the promise of redemption, the gift of transformation. In him, there was the possibility of reclaiming what was lost, of restoring the sacred to the ordinary, of turning hearts of stone into hearts of flesh. I saw that the path forward did not lie in rejecting the world entirely, nor in surrendering to it completely, but in seeking Christ in the midst of it all. To celebrate Christmas with true joy was not to indulge in the superficial, but to embrace the deeper call of love, sacrifice, and renewal. As I stood in awe of his presence, a new understanding began to dawn within me. The promise of hope was not just a distant future. It was here, now, within reach. And in the heart of this transformation, the light of Christ would illuminate not just the season, but every moment, every life, every soul that sought him. I woke, my heart still heavy with the weight of the vision, yet there was a palpable sense of clarity. The vision had stripped away the illusion, revealing that the true meaning of Christmas was not something to be found in the world's empty celebrations, but in the quiet moments of reflection, prayer, and connection with the divine. I began to see the season for what it truly was, a time not for indulgence, but for remembrance and renewal. I realized that Christmas was meant to be a reflection of Christ's love, a call to be transformed by his light. The journey wasn't about perfecting a celebration. It was about making room for the sacred in the ordinary, for the eternal in the fleeting. I made a resolution. I would not allow the spirit of Christmas to be consumed by the madness of the world. I would reclaim it, not as a time for mindless gift-giving or hollow rituals, but as a sacred time to reflect on the birth of Jesus and to allow his light to illuminate the darkest corners of my heart. The vision had shown me that Christmas was not beyond saving. It was a gift, still waiting to be unwrapped. The challenge now was to live it in a way that honored its true essence, to let the light of Christ shine in the midst of the darkness that had so long clouded its meaning. And with that, I awoke to a new purpose. To reclaim Christmas, not just for myself, but for the world, one small, intentional step at a time. It's not enough to simply talk about reclaiming Christmas or reflecting on its true meaning. We must act. We must live the message of Christmas every day, not just during the holiday season. This means prioritizing our relationship with Christ, serving others with love and compassion, and using the symbols and traditions of Christmas to point to him. I challenge you to reflect on the true meaning of Christmas in your own life. How can you make Christ the center of your celebrations? How can you use your traditions to share the message of hope and redemption with those around you? How can you reach out to those who are struggling, offering them the light of Christ? The world needs the truth of Christmas now more than ever. And it starts with each of us, living Christmas with purpose, sharing the love of Christ, and inviting others to experience the joy that comes from knowing him. All right, friends. This brings us to the end of today's experience. Kindly like and share this video with your friends and families. Kindly subscribe to our channel and turn on your notification bell icon to be the first to get updated anytime we upload a new experience sent to us. Remain blessed.